to Worlds Apart, Words Together, where best friends share laughter, stories, and unbreakable bond.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 38, maybe, I think.
Something like
Welcome,
that.
everyone, back last week to kind of touch back on what we talked about last week about digital detoxing. So, mainly, we kind of just discussed what a digital detox is, and we gave you some tips to kind of get started with that. And if you have, we're curious to know if you've encountered some issues or if you're just chilling out in nature all the time. So let us know if you've tried some form of digital detoxing, and then we're happy to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. We do want to hear about any kind of steps you've taken towards just getting off any screens and finding yourself and reconnecting with personal relationships, the world, the earth, any kind of thing like that. And I guess to sort of continue on this like summer trend of being a little bit healthy and being a little healthy girly or boy, I guess. I don't know what that version of wording is for the male side.
I
Um,
don't know either.
we're gonna be talking about some healthy eating and drinking habits that you can adopt this summer, and we're not going to be like, oh, don't have any fun, but it's just about again finding that balance and just putting in some more healthy habits on top
Yeah.
of or in conjunction in parallel with the enjoyment side of summer.
Yes. And to kind of kick off this topic, eating healthy doesn't have to be boring, doesn't have to be nasty. You can eat healthy and eat very delicious or drink very delicious drinks while they're good for you.
Yeah.
So today is just going to be a very light episode, us discussing some products maybe and some tips or some ideas that you can use for this summer that you may not have thought of yourself that could help you feel good this summer.
Yeah, and obviously this is not a like breakdown or a strict guideline of what you should eat and how to do
No.
that. We're here to just bring information to different types of healthy habits that you can incorporate, and obviously everybody is different, so everyone's going to have different macros, different tastes, different likes, different dislikes that obviously we hope that you can incorporate some of these ideas into your preferences. So I think we should start off with, because it's summer and it's hot where we are, that we should start with the number one would be water. Water is so critical. You have to have water. It's so easy to get dehydrated and we don't even know it. There's humidity, there's heat, there's UV. Like just having water, and if you're like me, you're like, I don't like water. There's ways to get your water, and trust us, you can do it.
Yeah. And those ways are very simple. The other day, for example, I made a little taco bar, which was really delicious, but I also had some leftover limes. And I'm growing some mint in my yard, so I cut some mint, put in some lime, and I had a delicious minty lime water. Um, it tastes so much better, but it is still that hydration that you need.
Yeah, and you
Um,
can do like limes and
lemons,
lemon, but you can also cut up like strawberries or cucumbers or any kind of fruit really that you can
yeah.
infuse water with. So depending upon what your go-to is or what your taste preference is, you can do more of like a cucumber vegetable light lemon lime, or you can do more of a fruity with like strawberries or blackberries or whatever you may want.
So I have maybe a helpful tip for people who want to drink a lot of water. Sparkling water for some people is also better
Mhm.
than just flat water.
Yeah,
And
especially mineral sparkling water. Like, don't
yeah,
you can get like the fake ones, LaCroix or anything like that. That's more processed, more not great for you.
hmm,
Um, but you can get like mountain mineral sparkling water or just like any kind of mineral sparkling water that really would
yeah.
help with that rehydration and stuff like that.
And then something even that will make it so much better is, let's say you have these strawberries that you want to put into. What you can do, you can put them into a little pan or pot, put a little bit of water to it and boil it for like 5 minutes, and then mash up the fruit. And that gives you a very natural syrup that you can put into the sparkling water to have yourself a little like virgin cocktail.
Yeah, and I think it's also really you mention cocktails and summer. You oftentimes think of spending a lot of time outside, different parties, alcohol, drinking, and all of that. And obviously, that is good to have. A balance is always good if that's kind of what you're into. But there are, as you just mentioned, very non alcoholic ways to get good benefits while seemingly drinking an alcoholic beverage. And
Yeah,
sparkling water is really a good ingredient as long with like berries or anything else that you can add to kind of give that more elegant or bougie feel, but also get the healthy benefits of the mineral water, the berries, and electrolytes and everything like that instead of just alcohol.
exactly. But that also doesn't mean that we say no alcohol,
Oh yeah, no.
because we
That, like I
we
said, you have to have a balance.
understand
You have to have a
there
balance.
always got to be a good balance.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
you know, I always like talking about these topics because it makes us look like we have everything perfect and we know exactly what to do at any time. Where it's like, I've told you guys many times, don't drink coffee on an empty stomach. What have I done multiple times? I've drank coffee on an empty stomach. So it's like, we know what is good for us. Doesn't mean we always have to incorporate it. As long as we have a good baseline, and then that fluctuation is okay.
Yeah, and that's what kind of makes it whole balance. Like you can be like 80% good and work on those incorporating those healthy habits, and then 20% you're not so good. Like you do drink the coffee on an empty stomach. You do indulge in a couple glasses of wine or seltzers or shots or whatever you're doing on that day. But just know there are other options, and I think that's kind of this episode is just giving options, giving suggestions that you may or may not have heard of, because there's a lot out there that like we don't even know. I would say kind of like what I've been doing, which I think is kind of funny. So sometimes like I like wine, but like I don't like to drink a lot of it. So what I'll do is I start, and I like soda. Well, some sodas, but they're also very unhealthy for you. So what I will do is I have like a electric. Listen to me, I can't talk. Electrolyte mixes like with water, and so I'll put like electrolyte mix in water, like a little shot, and then I'll add the sparkling water to it, and so then I have like my own kind of good electrolyte. Kind of feels like a soda, kind of feels like a wine. Depends upon what glass you want to put it in, depending upon what you're feeling. But you can dress it up and dress it down, and it's healthy and it's refreshing. And that's kind of been a go-to for me actually recently is just mixing sparkling water with random things and drinking it.
Right.
Like it's
And
not
that's
gonna
the
hurt.
thing. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't have to be boring.
No.
Drinking lots of water doesn't mean just drink plain water. If you want to put in a little extra lemon, do it. Spice it up a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, It's just whatever works for you. If you're fine drinking water, don't listen to any of what we just said. Just drink the
Well,
water.
I do have to say though, you can overhydrate yourself. There is a
Yeah,
limit that you do have to have some electrolytes, some sugar to just kind of help with the absorption. Obviously, you don't have to
yeah,
do
but
that.
I do think that in normal consumption of food, you will get those sugars regardless.
Not if you're in Missouri.
No?
If you're in Missouri, I sweat so much with how hot it's been.
Yeah, okay,
Um,
maybe in the summer months, yeah. But
Yeah, well, that's
I
what I'm saying. It's summer, and depending upon where you are, like I'm in Missouri, and it has been so awfully hot and humid. Like you go
yeah,
outside, and
then
I'm
it's even more important to get those salts and sugars
yeah.
in.
But on a day to day, yeah, you don't have to really worry about that. Just normal food, as long as you have a good eating
Yeah.
pattern, yeah, you're gonna get enough salts and enough electrolytes and enough sugar to help with that. But if you're outside a lot, if you're outside camping or hiking or kayaking, or if you're just in an area, you're living in an area that gets hot and humid, do be mindful that at least some of that water consumption has that
Yeah.
little extra to help your body.
Exactly. And with that being said too, it is okay to eat like a handful of potato chips or something salty, like some pretzels, just to get that salt level balanced again. Now, we're not saying eat a whole bag
No,
because that is too much, even though I would love it, of course. But just saying like a handful of salted peanuts or something to balance that out, that is perfectly fine. And if you want to go for those healthier options with that, sprinkle a little bit of sea salt or Himalayan salt in your water, or eat a handful of salted nuts instead of the chips. But there are also options there to
pickles.
kind of
Pickles are good.
pickles.
Salt.
Yeah, yeah. So that is for that too. But if you want to have snacks that are not necessarily salty but just also healthy, you could maybe get some frozen yogurt, or you can try and make some popsicles using some juice or using fruit to mash it up and then put some coconut water to like make popsicles out of it. You can be very creative with that. Nowadays, I've also seen a lot of um, fruits that they cover in chocolate or
Hmm.
yogurt and then freeze it and then have that as a snack. On the internet there are so many too many
There is.
recipes
There really
basically.
is. Yeah, and we just really started with water because that I think most, at least in the U.S. for sure, but I think most people don't drink enough water a day. And so like that's just really something we wanted to like bring up, obviously, to stay healthy. Like your cells, your skin, your hair, like every part of your body needs it. But not just water. Like you can get it, as you mentioned, in smoothies or popsicles or anything like that, and also like teas or um,
Yeah,
like you can do like
fruits,
sun
certain
tea or
fruits,
cold tea or anything like that.
like if you eat watermelon or
Mhm.
cucumber, those are like 98% water.
100%.
um, yeah, so eating those types of fruits during the summer months might also just be another way of getting
Mhm.
that water into your system, because it is true during the summer months you just have to drink a lot more because you're losing so much more fluids. So if you're getting bored by drinking all of that water, try eating those high water level fruits. And
Yes.
to continue onto like the produce side of things, there are seasonal products, I guess, that depend on where you live are seasonal, but like for now, I know it's strawberry season in the Netherlands, for example. And I would recommend to really try to eat some of those seasonal products. Add them to a salad, add them to your lunch, make a little soup from it. I know it's summer and you probably don't want to have soup, but
We can make
it would be
salads. Fruits go well on salads.
yeah, but also not even only fruits. Like you have spinach, you have zucchinis, like a bunch of different foods that you can eat that have a lot of vitamins and minerals, but you can eat them in a great way.
Yeah, the good thing is with all these more earthly produce, you can cook them or configure them in so many different ways and so many different recipes. You could literally not even eat the same thing the same way only on
Yeah,
rice. There's just so much out there, and you just gotta do like a quick Google search, and you probably could come up with like 25 different ways to have summer squash. I mean, it's like
yep,
ridiculous. So it's like just being a little creative. I know a lot of people think eating healthy is boring and you can only have like a grilled meat or salad and that's like all you can have, but it's so not true. That is such a myth. Like you can eat so healthy and mix it up so much. Like you can have squash grilled, you can have squash um kind of steamed, you can have it in like a zoodle, so like as noodles, or you can like there's just so much out there,
yeah,
and all it does is take a little bit of creativity to just try it. Like try it
yeah.
once and see. Like you can't say
And
no.
if you don't like it, don't do it next time. And I know we live in a time where people don't really want to spend time on making food for themselves because it takes a while. But from experience, but also definitely from just research, is taking time for yourself, making a good meal will get you so much more than just eating a quick meal from Chick-fil-A or getting it from takeout somewhere from Panda Express, because those meals contain so much salt, so much fat, so many things that are so bad for you. And if you eat that on a consistent basis, like it's gonna build up and you're gonna feel more like ass. You're gonna feel tired when you wake up. You're gonna feel tired during the day. You're gonna have more stress. Like there's just so many things that happen from eating a bad diet, even though it's like, oh, but I ate Panda Express, which has noodles and chicken. Okay, but why do my noodles that I make at home don't taste the same as the noodles from Panda Express? It's
Well,
because they
also
have
like
so
their meat
much.
is all batter and fried. Like you got to look at the
Yeah,
food. Just because you say you're eating,
exactly.
are you really eating meat, or is it mostly
Yeah,
just batter? And
and the
I think
thing. Yeah, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, I was just gonna say the thing is when you make meals at home, you know exactly what it is you put into it, and you can choose whatever oil or butter you use to bake stuff in or to prep food with. And you don't know that from restaurants. And so all I'm trying to say is take time for yourself and for your health because it'll make you feel so much better.
Yes, 100%. And it's even I don't know if I was reading this or I heard this somewhere recently. It's there's so much more that goes into prepping and cooking and eating at home that you miss out on at when you go out, or if you're just taking takeout, or if you're getting frozen meals. Like you miss like eating is more of should be more of a like it's a social thing. It's a you worry about more of who you're eating with or what you're doing around that food than what you're actually consuming almost, because if you're
Yeah.
with other people, or if you're enjoying, like if you're eating outside or if you're eating with your family, you're going to be talking, you're eating slower, you're eating more intently, but you're also enjoying the surroundings. And I think a lot of that we've lost, as we mentioned like last week with digital detoxing. Everyone has a TV on nowadays, or a phone at the table, or
Yeah.
whatever, and that destroys, like, even how your body processes the food as you're eating, as you're chewing, it changes when you are distracted with a phone or a TV or an iPad or whatever it might be.
I think it's funny that you mentioned that because it does, I think, very much depend on where you are.
Hmm.
It's very different in European culture
Yeah, I mean, I was
than it
thinking more from the
is,
American point of
yeah.
view.
But to compare European culture and American culture, if we go out to dinner, it is usually, depending on where you go, but usually high quality, less quantity, and it's almost like an evening filling program.
Hmm.
If you go out to dinner, it's because you want to have a night out.
Hmm.
In the US, going out to dinner, going to a restaurant is cheaper almost
Nah,
than
it
going
depends what
out.
you're getting.
Yeah, but the easy, accessible places are cheaper than just making a meal at home.
Yeah, I've heard the argument of fairly recently that it's cheaper to go out to eat than eat or cook and buy groceries and cook at home.
Yeah,
And I was like,
which is
well,
insane to me.
money wise, not really. Depending upon what you're eating. I mean, like Hunter and I on like a weekend, if we want to go out to eat for like lunch or something, like the cheapest we're getting is like $25 to $30 for the two of us. Like it's
Yeah.
still like I can make dinner for $10 for two of us. Like that, I mean, like it's still more expensive. But the argument was, well, time is money. And I can't, like, that argument to me is so difficult to use, like understanding, like if you're in a work scenario, yes, time is money. But when you're talking about your family relationships, your relationship with food, your health, I you need, like, that time is not, yeah, it's not money that's coming in, but it's your
It's your lifespan we're talking about.
exactly, yeah, you're talking about your lifespan, you're talking about your happiness, you're talking about your mental health, you're talking about your
Yeah.
future, you're talking about so much more than just dollar signs. And so
I mean, look at, go ahead. Sorry,
I
I cut
think
you
that
off
so
there.
many people are like, oh, well, time is money, and the only thing that they're thinking about is literally money in their pockets. And I'm like, if you have that busy of a lifestyle, maybe you should reevaluate, because you can't.
You're not gonna need all that money because you're gonna die too early to spend it.
Well, yeah, and there's no way that you that is sustainable for long
No.
periods of time. And if
So
you try to sustain it for that long, there's no way it's going to be healthy for that long.
another interesting comparison to make is when, Italians, they like to dine for hours,
Hmm.
being with family, talking, having a lot of time between courses to digest and have that social interactions. And Michael went to Europe last year with his team, volleyball team, and they wanted to have a quick meal somewhere because they were on a time schedule and they had to just eat and then move on. They couldn't find a place that quickly because people in Italy are like, no, when you go out to dinner, you sit down and you enjoy the meal. But he was like, it took him like 15 minutes to get a waiter to our table. I'm like, yeah, that's more normal in Europe. Like you sit down and have a conversation, and then the waiter comes and asks you if you want something to drink. In the US, it's like you sit down, the waiter's almost like breathing down your neck as you're sitting down.
No, for real, like it's so true. And That's kind of like the aspect of the difference of culture, but also just the go 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 mentality that the US has. And I'm not saying it's always bad, but when it comes to relationships and health, like understanding that slowing down, take the time to cook. You can make a decent meal in 20 minutes. Like, it
Oh,
doesn't have
totally.
to be
Yeah.
a long, drawn out process. You can make a very healthy, yummy, delicious, tasty meal in 20 minutes for a family. Like, it's doable. I've
Yes.
done it for 8 of us. Like, I've done it. But understanding, like, taking that time to cook, then taking that time to actually sit down and eat and not just be like eating in your car or eating on the run. Like, I understand there's cases that does happen, but to do that day in and day out regularly for 3 meals, 4 meals a day, like that's not treating your body with the respect that it needs to keep functioning at a good level.
So something funny that I saw the other day. Now I know we're kind of off topic a little bit, but I think it's an important thing to mention. Definitely. I was in at school, and the hour from 12 to 1, there's no classes, there's nothing because it's lunchtime.
Hmm.
So I was in like a block with a bunch of offices for professors. No one was to be found.
Hmm.
And I walked out to like the main hallway sitting area. Everyone was sitting there at a table, just eating lunch, talking with each other. I'm like, that's insane. Like, that's something you will not see in the US. Everyone's just eating by their desk or just munching on it as they go, where it's like they take the time to step out of their environment that they're in and have a meal together. And maybe somebody else is going to sit outside or do it in their office, but most people just take that time to really step away from their work and detox for that 1 hour.
Yeah, and like I said, like I know there's situations where you can't always do that, and
No,
no one can do it 100% of the time because things happen, and we're not here to be judging anyone for
no,
their lifestyle or whatever. We're just saying like, look, think about these things because these things do matter for the longevity and the happiness of your life. And a lot of it comes from food because just the act of preparing food has a positive um, kind of like reciprocation to your body
yeah.
as you're like mentally you're being a little bit more imagine creative with the food or whatever it might be you're um you know I don't know, a lot of different things. I forgot what I was actually going to talk about because I thought of something else. Because, for example, I do most of the cooking, but every once in a while, Hunter will cook. And I get so upset at him. I've gotten better, but I used to get so upset with him on how long it took him to cook. Because if I'm going to make, for example, one of our favorite kind of like weekend meals is we'll make homemade pizza, and we'll use like
Oh,
non
delicious.
bread as like the base, and then we'll put like our sauce and toppings and cheese or whatever we want on it. I don't make my own pizza dough. I haven't gotten that far into cooking, but we do like to assemble our own. Obviously it takes out all the oils and all that stuff that you would traditionally
Yeah.
if you bought, like ordered it out. And I'll zoomy and put everything on there and stick it in the oven, and I can have mine assembled and cooked in like 15 minutes. This man thinks every pizza is a Picasso, and he will literally take, like, I'm not kidding, 20 or 30 minutes to assemble his pizza. Meanwhile, I've already cut everything up and all the ingredients are there and all he has to do is put it on the bread. It will still take him like 20 minutes.
Wow. That's
And like,
impressive,
yeah.
honestly.
And I used to get really frustrated because I'm so used to like boom, 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 boom. Like when I was in school and I was working like 3 jobs and like, I'm like, okay, well, you learn to assemble things very quickly because you're like, I need to eat and I don't want to eat out. But I've been like, okay, take some deep breaths, Leah. It's okay. He can assemble his pizza. You'll be fine. That's not the end of the world. You're not the one eating it. But yeah, it's just so funny how, you know, I like to make I do prefer eating at home. I do like all of that. I think it's just better for you. But like I can do it way like I'm like, okay, this and this and cook it. And Hunter's more like, I gotta make it perfect. And I have to first do this layer, and then I have to
Yeah.
add this layer. I'm like, just dump it on there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and those are personal differences, and either is fine, but we just want to make sure that you take the time to take care of yourself.
100%.
And I think some tips, because we've gone a little bit off topic, so I want to put us back onto topic. Um, some tips for summer, because you don't want to be standing in the kitchen for hours when
No.
it's such a hot day.
Hmm.
Maybe try making salads. You can experiment with a lot of different ingredients, different salad types. Personally, I really like chopping up everything in small pieces and then mix it all together just because it tastes better in my opinion. I don't like those big clumps of salad in my mouth. It's just a personal favorite. But you can experiment with like egg, ham, avocado in your salad, some apple, some mango, like literally anything that you think
Different
might go well
seeds,
together.
nuts,
Different seeds,
literally
nuts,
anything.
like anything. And that will be such a good way to get nutrients and vitamins, and it probably will also be delicious. And the perfect thing about making your own salad is that you can put exactly all the ingredients in there that you like.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be anybody else's preference, it can be only yours.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
else, sorry, yeah, okay. Something else that Leah already touched on, I think, are grilled foods. Maybe you want to grill it outside. It's might be nice enough, like not too hot, but just nice enough to grill outside. And you can grill meats, you can grill vegetables, you can grill fish, any
Hmm.
type of food you can basically grill. And that could also turn into a healthy barbecue where you have these vegetables that you're grilling, these meats that you're grilling. That way, you're not adding those sauces or butters, oils that you would use when you're inside, but you're just grilling it, which I think also brings out a lot of flavor, but also that is a personal preference.
Yeah, I much prefer grilled foods over like oven cooked or boiled or even pan fried. Like nothing, in my opinion, beats a good grilled chicken breast steak,
Yeah.
zucchini, corn, like anything. You just
Yeah, and
like.
I like oven baked a lot.
I mean, it's personal opinion. I
Yeah,
just
totally.
oven. I don't know. I grew up with everything being grilled, so I think it's just personal
Yeah.
taste. But like, yeah, oven baked, air fried, anything like that. But don't overthink it. I think that's big. Aim for light, balanced, and not overthought.
Yeah. I have a great recipe that you people might like where it's like you put a bunch of I had tomatoes, onions, spinach, feta cheese, some olive oil and herbs and chicken. I put it in the oven for 20 minutes and I mashed everything together and then I put some pasta with it.
Ooh.
So that base made a really good sauce without any additives. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
it
Well,
was
that's the
really
other
good.
thing is you can make sauces from scratch real easy. Like if you want a spaghetti
Yeah.
sauce, buy some tomatoes, boil them up, put them in like a blender, add your herbs, and you've got spaghetti sauce. Now, if you're Italian,
Yeah,
you're probably gonna
which
shoot
is
what I just said, but
so much. No, but it's true. Like you can make good sauces
yeah,
with those ingredients.
pesto,
Um,
spaghetti,
yeah,
any kind of like
I
um
made a sauce with
recipe.
carrots, tomatoes, and mushrooms the other day, and I just blended it all together, and it was my sauce for my pasta. It's like you have so many vegetables in your sauce,
Hmm.
and it tastes delicious. But
Yeah,
that recipe, like it's a one pan, stick it in the oven for 20 minutes, mash it all up, add some pasta. You have a very healthy, nutritious meal.
yeah, you
Easy.
don't need to go and buy
Spend
like
hours.
jars. Yeah, well, yeah, you don't have to
No,
spend hours, and you don't have to buy the processed jar foods that have all these
no.
preservatives and oils in it when you can just do it
Make
yourself
it
in
your
like
own.
two
Yeah,
minutes, not even. You can make your own.
really. So that is, I think, also what we want to stress on is like all those products that you get in the supermarket oftentimes are really easily made yourself. And
Yes,
they're a lot
cheaper.
better for you and they're so much cheaper. Anything that has like that should be a fresh product that lasts more than 3 weeks or 2 weeks. No,
No,
like breads in the US, they could be lasting months. That's a no go. My breads at home, you have 3 days and then there's mold.
I put mine in the freezer. I freeze mine.
Yeah, that we do that too, and then we take it out so it's fresh. So I think experimenting with how to hydrate well. If you're bored of water, make sure to also add salts or sugars in your diet in the summer months, especially because it gets so hot and humid in some places. So you just need to have that little extra boost. And then trying out some easy, healthy recipes
Yeah,
that
and I just want to say these obviously are very broad things that we were just giving you guys as tips. But if you want us to go into more depth about different recipes that we like or
totally,
different
yeah,
drinks that we like that are nice, easy, light, let us know because we will be more than happy to just ramble about different recipes or different drinks
yeah,
or
or
what.
send them to you.
Yeah, or we can send you like what we do, or different like additives that we recommend for different drinks or
Yeah,
summer recipes. Just let us know. Like 100%, just reach out, just leave a comment or whatever, and we'll give you lots of different ideas.
honestly, we are full of them. And as we mentioned in the beginning, to kind of wrap up, it isn't about being perfect or doing those things every single day. Hydrating, yes, you should do every single day. But other than that, it is good to have a consistent base and be good consistently. And it's okay to fluctuate from that. It's not going to kill you. You're going to be fine. But as long as your basics also are good, you're going to feel a lot better overall.
100%. And it's also
Good.
like your body is a product of what you eat.
They always say you are what you eat.
Yeah, you are. And that ranges from body shape, body balance, mental health. Like if you eat bad foods, then you are going to have higher anxiety, more insomnia. You're gonna have harder time with weight control. All of that stuff leads back to your mentality around food. And this is a little bit off topic. We'll probably do a whole podcast on the mentality around food because that is
Yeah,
huge. But just recognize having those basics, eating relatively healthy-ish, and exploring those options for like 80% of the time, just have a good base, and then you can
yeah.
have those days where you eat more, you drink some alcohol or you eat
Yeah.
more or
Or eat some Chick-fil-A because
yeah.
it's good. It's
And it's okay to
delicious.
go out to eat. We're not, you know
fully against it.
Anyone
No.
who does, but
But what we're trying to say is don't make the bad habits your basics.
yes.
Make the good habits your basics, and then see those bad habits or bad foods as a sort of treat or a little bit of extra.
Yeah, or just as, something that you do for, you're having a more of a social kind of mental attitude towards it, because
Yeah,
chances are if you're going out to eat on as like a side, you're probably doing it with your significant other or friends or family or
yeah,
whatever, and enjoy the social side of going out to eat. We're not saying never do it, but enjoy it, make it more of a
activity rather than a must.
yes, exactly. And because you have that base, you have that healthy thing, and we don't want it to that negative mindset around going out to eat or eating more
No,
sugary
not at
foods,
all.
desserts, or alcohol. Those are just things that you should do, not every day, but things you should do as an activity, as a social outing, as part of enjoyment, more than doing it every day as your go-to lifestyle.
Yeah. And we hope, of course, that you'll be utilizing some of the things that we've discussed. And as I mentioned, if you have any troubles or if you do want to know more, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we really hope that you are taking away something from the topics that we talk about because we do believe that it will benefit you. Otherwise, we wouldn't be speaking about it. So, with that being said, we want to thank you for joining us as we offer a glimpse into true friendships, where even though worlds may seem apart, the connections remain strong. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.